This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Okay, Noah, what do people ask you more about? Your dad, Robert Blake, or Top That from Teen Witch?
Wow. Well, that is the first time anyone has ever framed a question exactly like that. I will give you that right out of the gate. I would say it kind of depends on their age, although Teen Witch seems to span a larger cross-section. So at the end of the day, and maybe people might be too terrified to ask me about my dad. So I would say it's probably more Top That.
From the heart of Hollywood, it's the Patrick Labber Show with Patrick Labberton.
It's the Patrick Labber Show. Patrick Labberton. He's the one you gotta know.
Tonight's episode, Noah Blake.
Patrick Labber Show. He's the one you gotta know.
All right, guys, you know him as a familiar face on your TV from such shows as My Sister Sam, 21 Jump Street, The Wonder Years, ER, Jag, and The Office, and of course, the legendary rapper Rhett, who performed Top That in Teen Witch. I know him as the dude who used to go with me to wait in line at Hard Rock Cafe when we would go clubbing. Please welcome my buddy, Noah Blake. Hey, Noah, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you. Thanks. It's really fun. I'm so stoked to be doing this with you.
This is really fun. Okay, so people can understand what's going on is when you're a young actor, you go to acting classes and then you'll go on auditions. I mean, that makes pretty good sense. And that's where we met. I think we met at the Estelle Harmon Actors Workshop, right? Was that where?
I think no, actually.
No.
Because I was tormenting myself with this too. I'm like, how do I know Patrick? Where do we fucking meet? I may say fucking occasionally or all the time during this, by the way. I hope you don't have
that's fine. No. There's no.
Okay.
No.
So I think it was in Mice.
Okay.
Was it?
So Mice was an improv comedy group. It was an improv group that was like a Groundlings or a Second City, but it was this crazy improviser guy who ran this workshop. But again, young actors meeting in a workshop.
Yeah.
And then we just sort of hung out. Did you do the Will Gear Theatricum Botanicum at the same time?
Oh, did we do that too at the same time? Yeah.
Yeah, we did that. We did we did Shakespeare theater stuff together.
Yeah.
But most of all, we hung out.
Yeah.
We did the young guy thing, the swingers thing, which was that time was literally contemporary. I helped you move out of your house down to Olympic.
God, that's right.
Right? So, okay, so we've known each other for a long time.
That's so crazy. Like, this is something that I've been contemplating a lot lately because, we did used to hang out, back in, I believe, what is referred to as the day. Which clearly is a sliding scale depending on how old you are. Because I hear like 30-year-olds talk about, remember back in the day? I'm like, are you talking about like 2012? Like, what are you talking about? But right. So we used to hang out, and there was a bunch of other characters that I was starting to remember that used to kind of like all kind of orbited around. And it's so weird because like you just never know when the last time you're going to hang out with one of those people is. Like,
right.
I know we met either in Mice or maybe we knew each other before and then kind of got involved in that together. But at any rate, we met in the improv group, became friends, started hanging out, saw each other at various auditions. It's funny because some guys you'd see all the time and some guys you'd cross over. Like you and I weren't exactly in the same ones all the time, but there were the crossovers. Right. But yeah, we became friends, didn't just hung out and went to have good times. But like, I couldn't tell you when the last time we saw each other was for the life of me. And you never know when's that last time going to be. It just kind of, this industry is so transitory. You get busy and find another little family for the next job and whatever, and you kind of lose touch. So it's just, at any rate, it's really good to see you, man. I'm glad to see you're doing well. And it's hard because this is a crazy
man. I appreciate that. Act 1, beginnings. I want to talk about your dad right up top so that we get this kind of out of the way.
Sure.
Now, what's funny, and people who kind of listen to my stories know that I don't put two and two together ever. So my buddy Noah Blake, hey, Noah's asking me to help him move out of his dad's house. So I go out there and I knock on the door, and Robert Blake opens the door, and I had no idea that he was your dad. So Robert Blake is obviously the famous actor. He was in Our Gang. He stars in Beretta. Father, what was it? Not Father Murphy. Hell House or Helltown?
Yeah.
Helltown. And of course, he's like this big, huge TV star and movie star in Cold Blood. So I want to deal with that because people may be out there going, oh, Noah Blake, he's a Nepo baby. I don't know if there's an opposite word for Nepo baby, but it's like you're a Natto baby. It's almost like it's a harder thing because you're Robert Blake's son.
Yeah.
But I do want to get your input or your thoughts, and then we'll move on. Your thoughts on what's it like growing up? Because when you were a kid, like 8, 9, 10, Beretta was huge. What's it like growing up with a big famous father?
Well, I mean, it's a little tricky. I've tried to answer this question many, many times. You know, he's the only father I had, so I don't have anything relative to compare it to. Like, that's the only life and father I ever lived through and with. I knew what it was like for other kids that had normal dads, that had normal non-public life jobs. And I know that it looked very different, their existence, than ours. But it would be hard to explain how it was different. I mean, there were certainly perks and fun, cool things. You know, we got to, go to Laker games and sit in the booth with Jerry Buss, or, I got to meet some of my idols when I was a kid because of whatever. And, but, also, there was a utter lack of privacy. And, back in those days, it was very different. We didn't live in a gated mansion or whatever. We lived in a little house in the valley, and, we'd go out in the world, and sometimes things would get real fucking weird, and sometimes they would get real scary and uncomfortable. And there was a lot of situations like that. And, then eventually we did move into a more kind of closed off community, but that wasn't until I was, 14, 15, whatever. But it was just very different. And like,
well, what was it? I mean, I get that. I mean, I get the idea that you can't compare. That's fair. But when your dad, what was it like? Did you think it was weird, or did you think it was just, is it that normal thing where Beretta comes on and, it's got that great song and great show, and then your dad's there? Is that something that was so normal to you that like other kids' dads aren't on TV, and that's the weird thing? Yeah,
I mean, it was weird for me being like, because prior to that, he was a known actor, but he wasn't like famous. Like in Cold Blood definitely gave him notoriety. The fact that he was on the Little Rascals, but like my friends and stuff didn't put together that little boy was my dad. It was like we all watched Little Rascals, but nobody really. But when Beretta
did you see your dad in that little boy, or did you not care?
Oh no, I knew and saw exactly who he was. Yeah. So, but when Beretta hit, that definitely changed things. He became, one of the most famous, recognizable people in the world. And TV, for those of you who are a little younger, was very different then. Like if you were a TV star on one of the major 3 networks, like if not like a person on a show, but if you were the star of that show, if you were, Peter Falk or my dad or, Starsky and Hutch, you were, that was it. Like you were Brad Pitt, because there was only
25 million people minimum were watching Beretta at least.
Yeah.
And that's again, that's a lot. We have a lot more people than we did back then.
No, so I mean, literally half the country that was watching that show. And it it changed things a lot, because all of a sudden our life got very crazy. And I don't think he was frankly prepared for it. And he kept wanting to try to live this, I'm the everyman, I'm the little guy, I'm the whatever. And everyone's like, yeah, not really. You're a fucking super famous guy, doing all this shit. But the weird thing is, like, people assume we hung out with like the offbeat people famous. Like we weren't rubbing elbows with the stars. My dad couldn't get along with many people. So we hung out, but for me, it was cool because like we hung out with people like, I don't know if you know Strother Martin.
Strother Martin.
Infamously
That's a weird dude as well.
We got failure to communicate in Cool Hand Luke and a million other great character actor roles. So we used to go hang out at his house up in the mountains up above Santa Monica or Malibu and just out in the middle of nowhere. Or, we'd hang out with all these other kind of fringy actor people, Elijah Wood, who was another crazy character actor, but no like.
Wait, not you're Elijah Wood's the actor.
Elijah Cook.
Elijah Cook. Okay,
who,
gotcha.
Was another famous character actor, worked with Bogey and all these people. Anyway, so it was not like the life of glitz and glamour. And then when I started acting, obviously, like you said, it was the antithesis of a nepo baby. Like it was bad because not only was he not helping, he was just not supportive. And he was also
none of your credits are on Beretta or any of these shows. It's not like he ever said, "Hey, come and do an episode."
No.
So
and when I asked, he was violently opposed because he had this crazy thing like, you got to do it yourself. I don't want you to. And I was like, this gets into a weird thing because like I do believe in doing your own work, but I went to class and I worked my ass off and everything. And, every job I ever got, I got. But like somebody helped him and somebody helps everybody, whether it's a family member or a friend or somebody becomes your champion of whatever you're doing in life. Nobody does anything alone, even if they say they do. The truth is we all get there with support and help, whatever. But he did like the opposite, which made me have this weird, crazy conundrum in my head. Like, why does my dad not want me to be successful? This is weird. Everybody else.
See, that's an interesting psychological thing too, because again, from the nepo baby aspect of it, everyone's looking at it like, oh, that celebrity made their kid a star. But the kid is like, why isn't my dad supporting what I like? Why isn't my dad helping me? And that can be really
it was
tough.
Because I saw a lot of other people around me whose fathers were famous. Not a lot, but certainly some. I'm not going to like get into the names, but like, I'm like, wait a minute, why isn't that guy doing, 5-line jobs to get started? How, I've worked my way up to guest stars and this and that, and then I got on shows and whatever. But like, I saw these other people just kind of come out of nowhere and all of a sudden they're starring in a movie. I'm like, oh, they're so-and-so's son. I'm like, how's that happen? Well, it's because fucking somebody called the, CAA and said, hey, I want you to handle my kid too. And they went, okay, sure. And off they went. Yeah. And I really did it. I had to dig all the way. And it was kind of like, I would rather have not had a famous dad and just clawed my way through than have a famous dad and be clawing my way through. Cause I think other people were confused too. They're like, why isn't he getting this opportunity that these other people are getting? And then also he started to get a really bad reputation and that kind of wore on. Like, oh, I wonder if his son's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like you're also, you didn't benefit from, you didn't get the benefits of a famous father, but you, I'm sure, got all of the difficulties. Plus, and I'll say this because I personally was there. Yeah. And you can comment or not comment on this, but my interaction with your dad was this one day. But dude, this guy's a weird guy. So he opens the door and he's on the phone, and he had this phone that had a cord that went through the entire house. I mean, back in the days you had a cord, but this phone cord was the most crazy thing I'd ever seen. And he was taking notes on the phone call on the wall. He was writing down notes on the wall. Now, I don't know more about Robert Blake than that, but that did not line up as like a normal household. So in addition to having like this big, issue, or not issue, but like big thing with your dad being famous, seemed like it was a really different type of upbringing.
It was. Right? And it's fascinating because like your memory of that moment 30 years ago, whatever, is more than that, is so accurate and so specific. And I mean, this is an acting lesson that's so clear that specificity is what impacts us and what we remember. Like, exactly. Because to you, you're like, that image probably will never leave your mind of a moment of being a famous guy. And it's so bizarre. And you're right. He used to write on the walls all the time with these big red fucking markers. And he'd write crazy obsessive shit on there. Like, what was the movie about the what's his name did, the Australian actor, about his mind?
Oh yeah, Beautiful Mind.
Beautiful Mind. It was like Beautiful Mind, but horrible. Like nothing, no good equations were coming out of it. It was just all chaos and mania. And oh God, I just remember all that. And then he'd like paint over it and then write new crazy shit. Yeah,
Wow.
it was
okay. So this is where you're coming from. You also lived in Michigan for, if I remember,
I went to
Interlochen, you
school
went
in
to- out to
Michigan for
school
2
up there?
years. Yeah, I went away to high school when I really wanted to act, but I couldn't admit it. I could not face it because I knew my dad would freak out. So I became a drummer. That was like the closest thing I could find. And I really loved playing drums. I became a really high level jazz drummer. I went to this school in Michigan called Interlochen and was like a jazz studies major for 2 years. Yeah.
So then how did you finally, because this is the other thing too, now that I'm realizing, how did you fight your way into acting apparently? Like,
Well, when I
against
was
the
in
wishes of your
Michigan,
dad.
there was, it was like a university. You were a drama major, music major, creative arts, but you had to go to regular classes too. But then the whole second half of the day was devoted to your art. There was a play that was auditioning and I snuck into the audition literally because I was a jazz studies major. I had no business over in the drama department, but a friend of mine was a drama guy and he'd go, "Oh, my friend's directing this play, and yada, yada." And I was like, "Really? What's the play?" And I heard about it. I'm like, and I just went over there and signed up. And I had never studied acting, whatever. I spent, obviously my whole life on a set mostly. So I osmosed a lot, but I went in and did this audition, just sheer guts and willpower. And I got the part and I was like, oh God, now what do I do? I got to go do this play.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know if they were going to let me because I wasn't in the drama department. So I asked and they were like, well, yeah, I guess there's no rule that says you can't. So I did the play, had an amazing time, was, by all accounts, really good in it. Although again, just instinct and guts was all I was going on. And after that, I was kind of like, oh man, fuck me. This is what I've got to do. So I finished my school and then I went to college, started college as a music major. And then I don't want to waste the whole time, but one night I went to dinner with my dad at Jeff Corey's house. Jeff Corey's
a famous acting coach. I got to do an episode of Little House with him, but I mean, he's just this great guy, this great acting guy.
And another one of these crazy fringy character actor guys who was in a million movies and this renowned teacher and was a friend of my dad's. He was a family friend. So, and I'd known him since I was little, but I didn't really care. I didn't know Jeff Corey from a hole in the ground. And now I had kind of started sniffing around. I'm like, we were going to dinner at Jeff's and I'm like, oh fuck. So on the drive home, I literally said to my dad, I said, hey, well, what do you think about me maybe going to Jeff's acting classes? And he goes, what? I go, yeah, I'd like to go to the class. He goes, what the fuck you want to do that for? I said, well, I'm interested in this. He goes, what? What do you mean interested in this shit? You're a drummer. That's what you want to go to Jeff's fucking acting class. I'm like, I said, Dad, well, listen, I did this play when I was in Michigan and I really, really liked it. And I want to see if, and he goes, I said, would you ask him? And he goes, I don't know. Let me fucking think about it. I don't know. And that was kind of it. So that's the level of enthusiasm he had for me telling him, not even that I wanted to go be an actor, but that I wanted to take a class. So eventually, like a week later, I came back to him and I said, hey, about that Jeff Corey thing. He said, all right, fuck it, I'll call him. He'd considered it zero. And I had to come back. And so we called Jeff. Jeff said, of course, I'd love to have your son come to class. So I went to class. I started studying. Dennis Miller was in the class and some other cool people. And again, having no idea what I was doing, the first monologue I wanted to do was Spencer Tracy's monologue from the movie Inherit the Wind.
And you're what, like 18?
Yeah, I was like 20 years old. And I was like, and Jeff was like, yeah, go for it. So I did that. And then rest is history. I just drifted out of college. Next thing I knew, I was going to acting class, different people's classes 4 nights a week.
So your dad didn't call CAA. I don't even think he was signed with CAA. So how do you get your agent? How do you break in where everyone would think that it's the easiest thing in the world, but how do you do it?
I was doing a play. I was studying at Estelle Harmon's and I got a play. Somebody was directing a play and I got one of the leads in this play. And so some agent came over there and they saw me in the play and then they signed me. And that's kind of how it started.
We'll be back. You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you might not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
After these messages, have you ever thought about becoming an actor and making your friends and family jealous? Well, have I got a deal for you. Here at Working Actors School, we offer many different classes so you can become a famous actor like me. And we have a delightful selection of classes, including Adult Weekly. It's every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Here you will learn how to be an actor with other adults. How do we do it? How is it possible? Is it a miracle? Yes, it is. It's a miracle called Zoom. We teach everything online so you can become a famous actor and impress your friends and family. So if you want to be a famous actor and make your friends and family jealous, then you need to sign up at Working Actors School. You can get a hold of us at workingactorschool.com. You can sign up for classes at workingactorschool.com. You can make a reservation for the class online at workingactorschool.com. So come check us out. It's workingactorschool.com. Act 2. Success. So you do a lot of work. I mean, the 80s, the late 80s was actually a really good time for our side, or our age of guys, and our type of guys. I would put us, I mean, if you're roughly categorizing us, we could be bullies, we could be boyfriends, we could be guys that were, on the fringe of the main story. And you did My Sister Sam, the new Leave It to Beaver, which was a big show, Werewolf, which I remember, 21 Jump Street, which was like your Carson as a young actor. If you did a 21 Jump Street, it was like the announcement that you were in. So let's talk about that. So what was this like when you're rolling up these credits, and what do you think really kind of broke you through the idea of, just like a guy that is unknown to a guy that's known?
I think I just started, My Sister Sam was literally the first job I ever did. And I will remember that to this day. My first line was, "Hey, Patty, let's party."
Couch.
Hey, Patty, let's party.
And they wanted me to walk in with this Nerf football, holding this Nerf football. And this is my first job ever. And I'm like talking to the producer, I'm going, that's ridiculous. What are you talking about? Nobody shows up to a party with a Nerf football. And they go, well, yeah, it's fun because, you want to have a good time. I'm like, no, what good time am I going to have with a Nerf football? I'm like, let me show up with a six-pack of something, even if it's...
This is your first job and you got this much attitude.
I'm not kidding you. Because I've been studying with Jeff Corey and Estelle and Kim Stanley and Bobby Lewis and like these legends. And my guy go, "Hey, Patty, let's party." Anyway, long story short, that was my first job. And then I started kind of like, I think casting directors started feeling like they could trust me coming in and that I would deliver. So I got, I just started booking more guest spots here and there, like on all those shows, Married with Children and this and that and the other thing. And like you said, it was funny because I remember 21 Jump Street really clearly because, there was the two characters. There was Johnny's character and David DeLuise's, Peter DeLuise's character, Hanson and Penhall. And I remember I went in and I read for Hanson and they were like, oh, wow, okay. And they brought me back in, producers, whatever. And then they're like, you know what? We want you to read for Penhall too. And I was like, oh, okay. I read for Penhall and I read.
So this is for the pilot. This isn't even for an episode.
Right,
this is back
the
when they're casting the original
21
pilot.
Jump Street. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to get this show one way or the other. And, I was kind of, I used to work out a lot back in those days and I was, good size, but I wasn't real tall. I'm 5'9", and, and Peter's like 6 something. And
DeLuise is a lot
eventually
bigger.
At the end of the day, they obviously went with Johnny for Hanson and Peter DeLuise for Penhall. And the truth of the matter is, I'm like, if they had a baby, it would be me. I'm not as handsome as Johnny Depp, but I'm not like as goofy as David, and I was big, but not as large as Peter was, and like eventually they went with the real polar versions of those two characters, and I kind of was down the middle, and that happened on more than one occasion for me, and I always kind of was like a little frustrated at that. As much work as I was getting, I felt like I was missing other things because, I would be a little left of center or a little right of center. They wanted the big bully guy. I played him sometimes, but sometimes they wanted a guy bigger and bullier than me. And when they wanted like the handsome boyfriendy guy, you know, I played that part too, but sometimes they wanted Johnny Depp. And so it's just like, it was kind of damned if I do, damned if I don't. But like that audition process, I swear I was in there no less than a half a dozen times. And
those are brutal type of auditions when they're doing that.
And it was always,
and they ended up casting another guy for the Tom Hansen role, shot the pilot, and then fired him. And then that's when they brought. I was in the group that went back for the recast, where they said, we're recasting a show. Come in. If you get it, this is like a Thursday. If you get it, you'll be on a plane on Saturday and you'll be shooting like by Monday. Wow. And so it was me, Depp, and another guy or two. And of course, obviously Johnny got it. But it can you imagine shooting the show, being the star of, I think it was called Church Street Chapel.
Oh yeah. Jump Street Chapel.
Jump Street Chapel. Yeah. Before they changed the name. But again, so you go through this whole process so they know who you are. When you do your episode, what was that like?
Oh, that was another crazy story, Patrick. I did the episode. Now, here's something all super funny. In the episode just before me, I can't remember who it was. Somebody super famous was in it, like a guest star. And then the episode just after me, Brad Pitt played a co-star role, and somebody else played one of the guest star roles. That was like a big deal. If you watch that show tip to tail, you will see basically every famous person that showed up in the 90s, almost every single one of them. Yeah. But anyway, I did it. I got hired to do the guest star, which I was happy about. And it was, I don't know, it's such a long story. I don't want to bore everybody, but it was supposed to be with Johnny and Peter. They were supposed to be these fraternal twins. And I was this marijuana weed guy who was buying it and shipping it. I was like the high school weed czar. And Johnny was in California and got really sick, got the flu really bad. And we're all up there in Vancouver just waiting. So like a week goes by and he's still not better. He can't fly because he's got ear infections, whatever. The fucking writer, Steve Cannell decides, fuck it, we're rewriting this. So they write it for Dustin and Peter to be twins. And they turn the whole episode into this insane farce called the Swark Twins. So it's Dustin Gwynn, an Asian guy, and Peter DeLuise, who's Peter DeLuise, are supposed to be fucking twins. And they come in to infiltrate my gang, and I'm supposed to like buy this. I'm supposed to like not be like, wait, what the fuck? Who are you guys? And I was talking, even the director was just like, I know it's insane.
It almost sounds like this is the episode they based the movie on. I mean, it's the same structure. It's a
little bit insane like that. Yeah. So Johnny never gets there. He showed up like in the last 2 days, but so I was there for almost 3 weeks in Vancouver.
And when you say there, they shot up in Vancouver, and when you're an actor, what they would do is they fly you up, they put you in a hotel, which is, at the time, they were shooting a lot of shows. So the hotel had like 5 different guest starring casts from different shows in the hotel.
At that time, I'm not sure when. Did you go there too? Did you do a job?
I went there too. They were shooting Unsub and a couple of other shows up there. They had those big studios.
When I was there, there were very few. Like Jump Street was the first show to break that barrier and go to Canada and shoot. Everyone said,
okay, so then you were there early on.
Yeah, there was like one other show, and I wound up most of that time hanging out with Johnny's stand-in, who was this good guy who says, I can't remember his name, but he's like, well, I'll show you around the town. So I spent a week just touring Vancouver with this guy. But that was fun. I mean, they're all fun. I always tell my students, I go, listen, people like to complain. Actors love to fucking complain, think who the fuck they are. But your worst day on set is going to be better than 90% of the rest of your days. You know?
Well, that's the whole thing. When you talk about acting, it's the job of acting is getting the part. Once you've got the part, that's where all the fun is. And it tinged with that, like the 2 days before you're about to wrap your guest star or your project, that fear of like, shit, I've got no project lined up. Now I've got to get back to work, because that's what it feels like. It's like all the stuff you do on the set's the fun stuff.
Oh God.
So you do Jump Street, you do a bunch of this guest starring work. This leads up to Teen Witch. Now, okay, I had Mandy Ingber on the show. She talks about Top That. I want to talk to you about Teen Witch, and then I want to talk to you about the Top That number. Sure. So Teen Witch is this classic that I'm sure if you're watching this, you already have seen either Teen Witch, but if you haven't, it's absolutely a good watch. It's with Robin Lively and Dan Gaudier, yourself, Mandy. And it's just a fun little nothing of a movie, except it had all these people in it.
Not too much fanfare,
so what was
Patrick. Seriously, tone down the rhetoric. Fun little nothing of a movie. I think that's what the fucking title was when they were promoting it. Coming to theaters, so it's a fun little
nothing little movie. Exactly. It was this horrible film that was made. They said it was shot on. No. So tell me your experience. You go up for this. These were the types of movies that we auditioned for all the time. You never knew what was going to come of them. So what happened?
It's funny because like I did, other stuff back in those days that I thought would probably be more enduring or have more impact. This was not the one I thought would live with me the rest of my life at any stage.
Right.
But it was just, another audition that I went in and I was like, the thing was kind of crazy. And it's, I honestly believe like on paper, there was not much of a character at all. There's just this guy named Rhett who kind of was this, Martian who kept showing up in various scenes, didn't have any through line or anything. And Top That was not even in the script. And, that wasn't a thing that came after the fact. I'll tell you about that if you want, but I think maybe mentioned it. But, so I go in an audition and I remember there was this one line that was, I had to say a whole bunch of names for a penis, tallywhacker, pecker, blah, blah, something, a whole like 10 things. And the way it was written was really choppy and ham-fisted. It had no rhythm, no nothing. Now me being me and being a musician and a drummer, I'm like, fuck this. I didn't care. I'm like, what do I care if I get or don't get this stupid movie? So I rewrote it. I took all the things they had. I took one or two of the words out, replaced them, and made it very, very rhythmic. And I made it like the singer.
Syncopated, so it sounded like.
And so I went in there and I did that in the audition, and they all just went, what? They go, how? Is that, wait, did you change it? I go, yeah, of course I did. And they go, that was, wow, oh my God. And so I'm pretty sure that got me the role. It
sounds like that you're the reason behind Top That then, that they thought that you could do that. Because Mandy was saying that it was added in reshoots. And so I'm thinking they went around and said, well, Noah can rap.
I think that's probably very true. Yeah. And they decided to add that thing and they called me and Mandy and they're like, we're doing this thing and we want you guys to be it.
What's this?
Stop that.
But give.
Stop that. I don't really give about trying to stop that.
Top that.
Big deal.
Stop that.
Unreal.
You can try till you blue.
I will make a fool of you.
Top that.
And we were like, okay, yeah, sure. And then they sent it over and I was like, well, this is terrible. Now what? So,
can I add a Nerf football?
Yeah, right? It would have only helped in that situation.
So what do you do when you're faced with something like this where, again, like you said you didn't think that this was going to be your legacy. No. And when you're
I still hope
set,
it's not. I really hope I do something.
I don't think that it is, but I mean, it's part of your story. But the reality is that when you're on a set and you're doing a shot or a scene, that takes like however long it took to shoot was a couple hours. And then the rest of the movie took a couple of weeks. So it's not even like you were thinking that was going to be the breakout part of that scene. But like you said, it didn't look on paper like it was a great idea. So what were your thoughts when you got it?
Well,
about how to approach it as an actor? The
first thought was like, oh, fuck. Oh, God. I don't want to look like a complete asshole. And I hope, Jesus Christ, this is so weird. And I was like, okay. And then I just figured, I got to do it. And I go, what would I tell another actor? What would I say? Or what would what if one of my hero actors was doing this? What would they do? And I just decided I'm going to lean into this as hard as I can. And I told Mandy, we talked about it. I said the same thing. I go, look, we're going to do this. we can't be winking at it. We gotta fucking lean into this all the way and sink or swim. It'll be what it is. But if we are half-assing it and going, we know this is stupid, it's gonna be really. And I think if we'd have done that, it would have been nothing. I don't think anyone would have ever blinked. But because we both were fiercely committed to it, however ridiculous it was, for whatever reason, it resonated and people got a kick out of it. And obviously, as it's aged, it's become even more and more ridiculous. At the time, nobody thought it was ridiculous. They just, watched it. But, I mean, when
did you realize that this had become a thing?
I didn't. When the movie came out, it was in theaters for like 2 weeks and then gone. Nobody even blinked. And I was like, good, that's in my rear view. And then lo and behold, somehow video, DVDs, whatever, of Disney Channel, this movie started finding an afterlife that was far more popular than its original life. And it became this thing. It's not like Rocky Horror Picture Show, but it became a thing that they would show in theaters. And people would go dress up as the characters. They still do it. People send me pictures of little kids dressed up like Top That for Halloween. It's so crazy. And my son just saw it. I have a 3.5-year-old son, and he just saw Top That for the first time. He thinks it's the greatest thing ever and hilarious. And he loves Mandy now. He always wants to call Mandy. He goes, Daddy, can we tell Mandy a text message? And he'll go like, hi, Mandy, I'm watching Top That, and I love you, and I think you're great. And so,
well, Mandy's delightful. If she's just always been
she's a good egg
of fresh air.
Did you know Fast Growing Trees is America's largest and most trusted online nursery with thousands of trees and plants and over 2 million happy customers? Whether you're planting fruit trees, adding privacy, brightening things up with flowers, or bringing in houseplants, Fast Growing Trees has it all. Even better, they can help you find options that are right for your climate, your space, and lifestyle. Click Order Grow. Every plant arrives healthy with the Alive and Thrive guarantee straight to your door. So if you're ready to get planting, this is the moment. Right now, they have great deals on spring planting essentials, up to half off on select plants. And listeners to our show get 20% off their first purchase when using the code WWO at checkout. That's an additional 20% off. Better plants and better growing at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code WWO at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code WWO. Now's the perfect time to plant. Let's grow together. Use WWO to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply. Go to growingfasttrees.com for details.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Be back after these messages. Hey there, I'm Patrick Laborteaux, and I've been an actor since I was a little kid, so I know what it's like to be a little kid actor. So I have a class here called Youth Weekly, and that meets every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, and it is an awesome class if you are young and want to learn all about acting. We have a great set of kids, and it's taught on Zoom, so you can do it from anywhere. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on your laptop, on an iPad. It's awesome. I've had kids take a class while they were in the car coming back from soccer practice. I swear to you. So if acting is in your blood, come to workingactorschool.com and check out the Youth Weekly class every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. I'll see you there. Act 3, present day. So you do Top That, and again, like you say, it's in your rear view. Then you worked on Married with Children, Belvedere, Growing Pains. You do Baghdad Cafe with Whoopi Goldberg. Let's talk a little bit about, because more than anything, it's like you're an honest working actor, a person who has a lot of credits, and like at no point, unlike myself or other people, it's like with Jag or Little House, I had the benefit of being on multiple episodes of a TV show where it would be like, I could try something. Right. And if it didn't work out, I'm coming back next week. Right. But as a guest actor, as a working actor, What's your approach to all these different sets where you got to kind of walk in as a stranger? Yeah. You know, it's like in the Old West, like the gun shooter that walks into town and tries to figure it all out. Yeah. What's it like for you doing all these different shows?
Well, couple things that I could say. One thing that I tell, again, this is like something I tell my students, I go, look, doing a guest star is like walking up to somebody's door on Thanksgiving and just knocking and saying, hey, can I eat with you guys? And they go, sure, come on in. And you don't know anybody. They have a whole hierarchy and history together. They have their own language and their own everything. And you got to come in and be a member of that family for that week somehow or other and find your place.
Sometimes they're not very nice people as far as they're not
Sometimes they are not.
Open.
And you're there to serve them. And everybody knows that. And but at the same time, you're also like, well, I want to make this count for me too. And, you know, so I got pretty good at finding that balance. And I think, you know, I had a certain amount of respect even from some of the stars, because at that point they maybe sort of knew who I was. And so I got treated at least respectfully almost all the time. A couple times it was a little weird. And, you know, some actors really think who the fuck what they are. And like every shot, like even your shot still has to be focused on them somehow. It's like so crazy. I'm like, this is my single, right? Yeah, no, but it's still about her. But anyway, so, you know,
there was a guy I had on the show who was on JAG, a guy named Steven Culp, who Kevin Costner said, I think I'm going to take your lines.
Yeah, I've heard
and he had to fight Kevin Costner and say, no, that your character wouldn't say this is in 13 days. He goes, no, I play Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy would say that. You wouldn't say that. And he had to fight. So it's like, yeah, that happens literally. Like, I think I'm going to take your lines.
It does.
You worked on Married with Children. You said you had a story for that. And this is like another one of those 21 Jump Street shows where, again, it was a huge show. I don't know the part. I would imagine you're Kelly's boyfriend or problem. But what happened on that show?
Oh, no, there wasn't a big problem. I did it twice, actually. I appeared twice on Married with Children, 3 seasons apart, both as Kelly's boyfriend, but different guys. I was like, when they asked me to come back, I'm like, oh, am I playing so-and-so? They go, no, you're a new boyfriend. I'm like, wait, what? Because like the first time I did it, my hair was kind of short like this. I played this kind of, you know, leather jacket clad, kind of tough, spiky, punky guy. And then I came back years later and times had changed and I had a mullet. And so I played a different dude. And the mullet guy was, I think, just 1 or 2 scenes. Just her and I making out on the couch or something. But it was just so funny to come back on the show.
Okay, stop. Okay, so we have to talk about this. So you're an actor. The acting is your job. But today your job is to make out with Christina Applegate.
Yeah.
How tough is that, Noah? How difficult is that?
You know, I had to really lean into my training and my preparation and all the work that I'd done to substitution exercises. Yeah, no, that was cool. I mean, the first time I did Married was, I don't know what it was, season 2, season 3. It was early in the show. And Christina had already become like, you know, the poster girl of every teenage guy in the world. And when I got that gig, I was like, it was kind of affirming to me. I'm kind of like, well, at least they think I'm good looking enough that Christina Applegate would be attracted to me. And so that was kind of a big deal. And obviously when I went in, and everyone on that show could not have been nicer. She was great. Ed
I
was
love hearing
lovely. That. Everybody there, I had such a good time. They were really welcoming. And that was a great experience. And
I want to ask though this, because I had a scene in Heathers where I'm sexually assaulting a girl and I didn't think about it. And it was just like this really bad, weird, awkward situation.
Oh, yeah.
This was different, obviously, completely different. You know, in the script that you're going to be kissing, you're going to be doing all of that, but it can be weird. I mean, we're joking. I'm laughing. It's like, oh my gosh, what's it like to kiss Christina Applegate? But it is weird because it's like, I don't know. You didn't hang out with her. You just met her. That you knew her from the other episode, maybe. But like you're kissing this person. Do you leave your body? What happens?
It doesn't. I mean, to me, whenever I've had like make out scenes or something, to me it always. I don't know. This is gonna sound weird and actory, but like I I always just feel like it's my character kissing their character. Like it literally
I guess
just
you
doesn't
have to,
really,
yeah.
it doesn't register like as I'm doing this with Christina Applegate. I'm just like, our
Right.
characters are doing this thing. So it is.
So you don't leave the scene thinking, "Oh, she really likes me."
No, that wasn't.
Yeah.
I know that
It's like,
some
no,
people
the stripper
do.
really likes me.
Yeah, exactly. If I weren't paying her all this money, she'd be dancing with me anyway. No, I never really thought that. I mean, I think she did like me, but I don't. No, it wasn't like
Right.
that. I just feel like it's kind of okay. This is what our job is right now, and then when we're done,
Well, and for her, I imagine she's having to kiss a different boyfriend because Kelly was that type of character anyways.
right, yeah,
So that's a whole other.
yeah. That was
Okay.
different. It's like
So
so
you
many
do-
guys
you-
did that role too. I mean, there was
Right.
probably another half a dozen or dozen guys over the years that you'd know who they were because they were Kelly's boyfriend at one point. I'll tell you a good one about.
Yeah.
I eventually finally got a series regular on the show Harry and the Hendersons, but prior to that, when on Growing Pains, that was a great getting fired story. I don't know how much more time we have, but I was supposed to be a regular.
No, the stories are the best.
Yeah.
Tell me.
I came onto the show when Kirk Cameron's character was going to college to be an actor. And I don't know if you remember
Okay.
this, whatever, but it was later in the show's existence. And they brought me whatever his friend's name was previously, his pal growing up that they was on the show. Boner. So that guy was out,
yeah.
and they wanted to bring in somebody that was going to be like a cool guy that Kirk Cameron's character could kind of look up to. So I was the guy at his new college, the acting guy who was like the Brando-y kind of guy, and a little, an upperclassman as he was a freshman that was supposed to like befriend him, whatever. And his now wife, Chelsea Noble, was supposed to play
Right.
my girlfriend. So we go on there
Got it.
together. We come on the show together, and they're like, okay. And we do a couple episodes, and
Was Julie
Cameron.
still on the show at that point, or had she been already summarily gotten rid of?
Who?
Julie.
oh no, Julie
Jules.
was long gone by then.
Okay,
yeah.
Julie McCullough.
Julie McCullough, a friend of both of ours. She
Right.
was gone. And so Chelsea and I come on, her and I are playing boyfriend and girlfriend. And obviously Kirk Cameron like falls in love with her. And, he's still kind of like a boy at that point, and I'm, more of a man or becoming one. And now this was never officially told to me, but like after episode 3 or 4 or whatever, I'm getting ready to go in one day. My agent calls me. They go, "Don't go to work." I go, "What?" They go, "Yeah, just don't go to work today." I go, "Well, what's going on?" They go, "We don't know yet. Just don't go in." I go, "Okay." I get no word about anything, nothing, for a good period of time. And I'm calling them. I go, what is fucking happening here? Eventually, what they tell me is, officially, they felt I didn't have enough energy. And I go, wait a minute. You're telling me they're firing me because they didn't think I had enough energy? Me? I didn't have enough energy? And even if that was the case, the director couldn't go, "Hey, Noah, amp it up a little bit."
Yeah.
They couldn't do that. They go, I know it sounds weird, but that's literally all they're willing to tell us at this point. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Now I think this is going to be like a big break for me, whatever, And so I go on with my life. And then, in the weeks and months to come, I find out that Kirk and Chelsea are becoming this item. They obviously got married eventually. And I'm like, oh, I know why I was fucking fired. And it wasn't like I was replaced. That character just disappeared. And that was one of those situations where like we talk about being on a set.
Yeah,
where
our
it's
friend
not-
Kirk Cameron, who, God bless him, he gets rid of people. He got rid of Julie.
Yeah,
It sounds like he got rid of you.
I mean, he is
Yeah.
a literal lunatic. That's my opinion anyway. But so that was a horrible experience. And like, that happened on a couple times. Like when I did Baghdad Cafe, I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
here's my break. I'm playing Whoopi Goldberg's daughter's boyfriend in the TV version of this movie that like was an Academy Award nominee. And Whoopi at the time was like, fucking huge. And I go in there and I'm in People magazine. They've got pictures of me and Whoopi and People as the promo stuff. This show's fucking canceled after like 8 episodes. I'm like, God damn it. What do I got to do? So that happened.
You do Harry and the Hendersons, which again I think Julie was on as well.
Yeah, Julie played
Bruce
my
Davison. was the guy who was on the TV show, right?
Bruce
and he
was
was
a
my
great-
dad in MAME, so I worked with him when I was just a little kid.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so
but
you
that was a
started as
big-
a child, which was, I think,
Yeah.
is, I would have loved to do that, but obviously I didn't, I couldn't, but, so anyway, go ahead.
Well, it's so funny too, because your dad, I mean, obviously our gang, I mean, it's like, it's just, what people sometimes don't get is, and I hope it comes back, that this is a company town, and like where you lived with your dad, I can name 10 actors that live in that same area because it's Studio City, and it's like, it's right next to Radford, and it's like really everybody, oh, that's the sound guy from, this show, and that's the camera guy. But it's just like a small insular town. That's why everybody kind of seems to know each other.
Yeah.
But you do all of these things, and then I just spoke with Darlene Vogel from Pacific Blue. You do an episode of Pacific Blue.
Yeah.
And she also worked with Ricky Dean Logan.
Oh, God.
I wanted to talk to you just recently because you did, before we get into that, you do an episode of JAG, which finally we're on the same project and we never worked together.
I know. That was when I booked that, I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to call Patrick, whatever. And then I read the script. I'm like, we're not in it together. I'm not calling him.
No, and that was, the funny, not funny, I guess, but like unique thing about it is that's the episode where they blew up my character and blew my leg off.
Oh my God. Now that was another one. Even on your show, they told me that this was a highly likely recurring guy. I was like, okay, great. And so I was not. I was.
But
on
you
it
were
one time.
you were on a ship somewhere. Why would they reoccur the same ship?
I have no idea.
You were
No,
on
I
the
think I was
Seahawk,
on a
right?
submarine.
Okay,
I think.
with Bo
Yeah, no, I was on a
Swenson, or
submarine.
no?
What?
Or no? Bo Swenson was the bad Russian guy. There was a
I
lot
was
of
not
people. there was a
Russian.
lot-
I don't. You know what, Mike? I just remember them telling me this, and I was like, "Yay, another opportunity to get shot down."
Right. People love to lay those promises out.
Dangle those carrots.
But during the COVID, you do this show. I just wanted to get your thought on it because it seems really interesting. This thing called Red Room,
Oh yeah.
which it's like a horror TV show. I won't go into the details because it is kind of sick, but it looks really interesting. But the reason I want to ask you about it is because, look, working actor school, right? It's like the idea is always try to find work, and during the pandemic, it seems like somebody just came up with a way to do something. How did that show? How do you get involved in that show?
Brooke Lewis. Do you know Brooke?
I don't.
You do. If you do, you have to. I'm almost positive.
Okay.
Brooke's another one. She was around for whatever. She did a bunch of horror movies. She just called me and was like, "Hey, I want to do this thing. Are you interested? Will you do this thing?" And I've got Josh Butler's going to direct it. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Because Josh directs a good bit of TV and stuff. And so she kind of just pitched it to me, and I was like, then she said, "Oh, Ricky Dean's going to do it." And, I'm sure you know Ricky.
Yeah.
And I called him. I'm like, "Are you doing this thing?" He goes, "Yeah, you should do it. You should do it." So we both just did it. And I don't know what, if ever, anything may or may not come of it, but it was just another job to do that. We self-shot because it was COVID.
Right. It was in COVID. So the
was in
idea, which I thought was
COVID.
Yeah, it's kind of like a really creative solution. It's about, it's a real dark horror show.
It was like a
about
Saw type
people doing
thing.
bad things on the internet. And so I imagine that you each shot your own thing at your own place, right? And then they put it together so everyone, I just thought it was really creative. And again, when faced with we'll talk about your teaching a little bit later, but it's like you gotta make your own things happen in this town. This whole podcast is because I got bored in COVID.
Did you know Fast Growing Trees is America's largest and most trusted online nursery with thousands of trees and plants and over 2 million happy customers? Whether you're planting fruit trees, adding privacy, brightening things up with flowers, or bringing in houseplants, Fast Growing Trees has it all. Even better, they can help you find options that are right for your climate, your space, and lifestyle. Click Order Grow. Every plant arrives healthy with the Alive and Thrive guarantee straight to your door. So if you're ready to get planting, this is the moment. Right now, they have great deals on spring planting essentials, up to half off on select plants. And listeners to our show get 20% off their first purchase when using the code WWO at checkout. That's an additional 20% off. Better plants and better growing at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code WWO at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code WWO. Now's the perfect time to plant. Let's grow together. Use WWO to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply. Go to growingfasttrees.com for details.
Back after these messages. Hey, I'm Patrick Labertone. I play an actor on TV, and I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I know what it's like if you are in a class with people, and sometimes you just want to have that one-on-one connection with the person that you're working with to go over, I don't know, a particular scene, or maybe you have an audition, or maybe you just want the privacy to try stuff that you don't really know is going to work and not have anyone look at you. Well, I have the perfect solution for you. It's called One-on-One with Patrick Labertone. You can book your time at workingactorschool.com, and it's just me and you for an hour going over whatever it is you want to work on, breaking down the script, talking about character, figuring out your intention, the spine of the scene, everything that goes in to making a dynamite performance. So if you're interested in acting and want that one-on-one personal attention, check out One-on-One with Patrick Labertone. You can find all the information you need at workingactorschool.com. Act 4, questions. Okay, so here are the questions. Now, these are called Tina's Gotta Know, because Tina, my wife, came up with these questions. And the first question is called That's Showbiz. What would you say is the most Hollywood moment in your life?
The most Hollywood moment in my life. Holy shit. God. Well, this is going to sound weird because, again, because when I was growing up, my dad was so not in it, so it wasn't like glitzy, glammy, whatever. And in my life, I'm pretty much of a regular guy, regardless of wherever my levels are. So, and I never meeting people never really mattered to me because I was just famous people. I just knew they were just people. So it wasn't I did meet Muhammad Ali. That was a big deal, but that wasn't like a Hollywood moment. I don't know if I can answer that.
That counts, man. I mean, look, Muhammad Ali is as Hollywood as it gets.
I met Muhammad Ali, and that was a big deal. That was at I don't know, a party for something, and I was like, "Oh, holy shit!" It's Muhammad Ali, and that was a moment where I personally was starstruck. I'd met everybody and their sister. I literally sat at the table with Jack Nicholson at this place and whatever. But meeting Ali, I was like, oh my God, that's Muhammad Ali. And he shook my hand, and, he had his Parkinson's was coming on at the time, but he looked, he's
still the greatest.
Yeah. And he did his thing, put his fist up, and that was a cool moment. Yeah.
All right. Number two.
Wait.
Oh yeah.
No.
Okay.
I gotta be honest. A Hollywood moment. I talk about a moment you just couldn't whatever. I was at the Playboy Mansion.
There we go.
As I was, I went there a couple times with my dad, and I kind of met the guy Hefner and whatever, and I got invited there on my own and stuff, and went to parties. And let's just say I was at the Playboy Mansion on more than one occasion, and that was super fun.
On the advice of your counsel. That's all you're able to say.
That was pretty Hollywood.
Okay.
I would say, yeah.
I would say that anything happening at the Playboy Mansion is pretty Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's Showbiz Part 2. What would you say is the most embarrassing Hollywood moment in your life? Would it also be the Playboy Mansion?
No, I'd hardly call that an embarrassment. No, sir. No. The only ones embarrassed were the ones taking pictures. No. This is a funny question because my wife says I'm unembarrassable. And I get that. I can see that. I don't really ever feel embarrassed. I just don't. There's nothing. I don't know. Maybe I have a weird wiring, but I don't understand it. It doesn't really compute to me. Even if I can't imagine doing a thing, and if whatever it was, hey, I did top that. What's going to embarrass me?
That's probably the best answer right there. It's like if you're the top that guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I seriously, I don't, and it's a weird feeling because I know other people feel embarrassed all the time, and I don't know. I just think I was.
Everybody's different. I love that. That's one thing I love about asking these questions. Number 3, show me the money. What's your biggest missed financial opportunity? In this town, we always get like, maybe like people, or you get an opportunity and you go, oh, no, thanks. And
well, I don't know if missed financial opportunity. I mean, there was jobs that I missed, whatever. But
right.
When I had scraped enough money together and doing a series, whatever, I bought a house, and then I sold that house after my dad's whole murder trial chaos because too many people knew where it was, and it wasn't like a mansion on a hill. It was a little 2-bedroom bungalow in West Hollywood, and I sold that house, and I was not smart with the money. I didn't buy a new house. I kind of lived off of the money that I made from it for a while. And then I kind of had a catastrophic meltdown that could be described as like a nervous breakdown or PTSD, where for almost 3 years, I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything because after the trial, I imploded and I didn't know what happened. That's a whole nother story.
I can tell you what happened. Your dad was on trial for murder. That'll fuck you up.
Yeah. And I just kind of white knuckled my way through the whole thing. And then it was over. My system just fucking stopped. And I thought I was dying. And then, like I said, for like 3 years, I had no income. I was just living off savings. Whatever.
And money goes, man. Money always goes. Yeah.
My financial trajectory in a really rough way. Cause like everything I had worked for was in that house. But, anyway, so that was tough. Yeah. And then I didn't get Thelma and Louise. That probably would have been a good chunk of change.
God damn it, Brad Pitt. Just stop.
Yeah.
Number 4, show and tell. As a teenager, what was your favorite poster in your room and how'd you get it?
Oh God. It was what's her name? It was, the actress that was, oh God, she was just, the fall
Cheryl Ladd, there's Farrah Fawcett,
she was less famous. The girl on the Fall Guy, Heather Thomas.
Oh, Heather Thomas. Thomas.
You probably know the exact poster I'm thinking of.
I think she's in blue short jean shorts.
Yeah, and a bikini top. Yeah. Heather Thomas. That was my poster.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think I might have had a Cheryl Ladd in there too, possibly.
All the Cheryls were represented.
Yeah.
What's the best thing you've ever done and the worst thing you've ever done as far as acting? Not kids or anything like that, but like, what are you most proud of and least proud of?
Well, again, there's nothing I'm the least proud of. I mean, everything I've ever done, and I say this with all humility.
Well, I'm going to stop you right there. The reason I ask this is, look, it's not about like, we as actors have to be honest, right? When you look at the question I'm asking is, what performance, when you look at it, are you like, I fucked it up or I didn't get there? Like, it's not about like being embarrassed or proud, but like,
let me think a minute. Oh God. This was another series I was on that went nowhere. Moon and Dweezil Zappa had a show on called Normal Life with what's her name from Laverne and Shirley as the mom.
Cindy Williams.
Cindy Williams was the mom, and one of the guys from Barney Miller was the dad. And Moon and Dweezil
Max
Zappa.
Gale.
Yeah. Max and so I come on that show like I started on the show as Dweezil's best friend, who was his best friend in real life. This guy Scott. And again I'm like, okay, here's my 12th big break. And that show was ill-fated as well because Moon and Dweezil couldn't act their way out of a paper bag. And so the show crashed and burned after half a season, and it was another fucking out the window. But I remember seeing one of my episodes later in life and watching it and going, I am not committed in this moment. I am playing at it. I'm almost laughing at myself in this. And if I had committed more, it would have been better. But I felt like the show was already so bad that I was like acting in what felt in tune with the show. But me watching it later, I was like,
You didn't
that's
care.
not good acting at all. That is fittingly poor.
And what are you the most proud of when you look at it? You go, "Fuck, okay, that lines up. I was really connected."
Jesus, I don't know. Maybe they're all not good, so I wouldn't think. maybe they're across the board not good, so I can't think of one that stands out.
Mr. Christopher Nolan, I give you the clip. Top that.
It would not be that for sure. Patrick, that's interesting, man. I'm having a really hard time thinking of.
Well, I think it's a good indicator of like how in the moment you end up being.
Yeah.
I mean, if we've learned anything talking today, it's that you move forward and that you're connected, and then you move to the next thing. Which
I just did something on one of these. I just did a movie actually where I played this wrestling coach of this kid, and he's gay, and the star.
The coach or the kid?
Huh?
The coach or the kid?
The kid, my son. And he's kind of like closeted, and the star wrestling kid on the team is also kind of like issues, and they kind of wind up coming together. And as the father, I'm like, kind of constantly pushing this kid, whatever. And then at the end, it kind of comes full circle, and we find out that he has this big, moment. I don't want to give it away because the movie's not out yet, but like I think when this comes out, actually, I'm really proud of it. I've never done any LGBT related stuff before,
right?
And I mean, I'm not gay in this thing, but it was good. I mean, everyone in it was really good and really committed, and I thought my work was really good. I'd had a lot of.
Can you give a name of the upcoming of the project, or is it?
I don't know I can't remember what the working title is.
Okay, no worries.
But
all right, so then moving on to No Show. What part did you want but didn't get? Was it like?
Oh God,
Thelma and Louise, or was it something else?
That was a bit tough one because I knew that it was going to be that it was playing what's her name's love interest, the Brad Pitt character,
Gina Davis.
Yeah, Gina's love interest, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's 6 feet tall. They're never going to hire me. But they kept bringing me back and kept bringing me back, and I was like, fuck. And I remember one of the last callbacks, like everybody there was like 6 feet tall, and I'm like, fuck. There's like 4 guys, me and I can't remember who they were, but anyway, I was like, so that was a bummer. But no, I think the Growing Pains firing was a real kick in the balls. And because I knew they were lying to me, I knew that what they were saying wasn't true. And I felt like that was a real opportunity. That was a big show at the time. And, after 3 episodes, I was out. So that was tough. Jump Street was tough, man. Not getting that was hard because I really felt like I had a real shot. I know my father, because Stephen Cannell had worked with my father before. Well, this is a classic example of my dad not lifting a finger. Like, he could have called Stephen and gone, Stephen, just fucking hire my son for one of these roles. He didn't. I don't even think Stephen knew that was my dad at the time. So, but that was tough because I kind of had a feeling that show was going to be a big deal. And I was like, come on, guys, pick me for one of these roles. So that was a tough one to swallow. Because, like, I already felt like I had the job. I'd been in their office so many times. Like, I felt like I was already in the show.
when you audition like that, where you create a relationship and then there's back channel talking like, oh, they really like you, or your agent hears from the casting director, Noah's really in the mix, or whatever it is.
It's the worst.
And as an actor, I talked about this earlier, as an actor, you always picture yourself as the character, so you see it. You know it can be you.
I had already moved to Vancouver. I was deciding what I was going to do with my apartment at home. I was gone.
Okay, number 7, favorite show. What movie has influenced you the most?
Oh, worst possible question to ask me ever. I'm a filmophile. I'm psychotic about movies. Influenced me the most, I would say, for me. I mean, there's always, the standard movies, and I love all of them. I mean, I just watched Casablanca again last night. I'm like, what could you literally ever change about this movie? Nothing. But for me personally, when I really started to like move into being an actor, I saw the movie Network, and I was like, holy shit. The writing in that movie, the directing of that movie, every performance, like from top to bottom, is just spot on. Like that movie, I could literally just watch it for the rest of my life. I mean, Robert Duvall and Peter Finch and Mitch. My brain is going away.
Who directed that? Was that Pakula, or who was the director?
Yeah, no, that was Kubrick. Oh God.
We'll cut this out. I'm
Network.
just curious.
Oh, I'm blanking out of my brain. Faye Dunaway. Oh my God, incredible. And then the woman who plays the wife in one scene gets an Academy Award. It's just that movie. If I was going to tell people that wanted to be in this business to watch one movie ever, like you want to be a director, you want to be a writer, you want to be an actor, you want to be a fucking caterer, craft service, watch Network. And that is
Patty Chayefsky is a writer.
Patty Chayefsky wrote it.
It's a great project.
Oh,
and so what would show me again, what movie do you rewatch the most? It could be that, or it could be a different movie that's a comfort movie. What's your comfort movie?
For me, and I don't know if it's just like my Italian genes, I'll watch Goodfellas endlessly, just endlessly.
Yeah.
And again, that movie is, there's not a shot in it that's not suitable for framing. There's not a scene in it that could be taken out. Every line that every character speaks could only be spoken by that character, and universally great.
And like this other good Scorsese movies, his sequences are really rewatchable, and the overall story is also really rewatchable. And in that movie, I mean, just it looks. I mean, the cinematography, the costuming, everything about it is so good.
The scene where they're in prison and Henry Hill starts talking about what it's like to be a gangster in prison, and they're just showing him cooking all the food and stuff. That scene alone is a movie for me. Like that,
Right.
Paulie had this great system with for doing the garlic. He used to cut it so thin with a razor blade that it would liquefy in the pan. It was a really good system. Johnny G.
Now, I don't know if I'll keep this in, but did you know that the sequel to Goodfellas was My Blue Heaven with Steve Martin?
No. What?
Okay, so get this.
Wait,
this is a really. I'm not. I swear to God, this is true. So
oh my God, because when Henry Hill goes away to live the new life, and that's supposed to be that
Nick Pileggi, right? Who writes? I think he writes the Goodfellas.
Yeah, Nicholas Pileggi. Yeah.
He was married to Nora Ephron. I think it's Nora Ephron. Sorry if I'm.
Yes.
And so Nora Ephron writes My Blue Heaven. So why she writes My Blue Heaven is when he's writing Wise Guy, Henry Hill would call in to the house to talk to Nicholas. She would be on the phone and he would start telling her stories while Nicholas is getting ready. And so she ends up writing this movie about this guy, not named Henry Hill, but it's Henry. It's from, I always thought that was a fascinating kind of like little connection.
I didn't understand at all when you said that, but then I was like, oh wait, no, it's a wise guy who's living under the witness protection. Of course, that's Henry Hill in his afterlife. Yeah, but that's a great example too of like even super talented people have like limits of where they can and can't go. Because like Steve Martin just clearly had no real connection to that character, and was just playing a carbon copy of a hologram of a version of a gangster that he once saw a movie about. And it's like, it was just unwatchable, and it's just funny. I think I
love Steve Martin, and I got to agree with you. I mean, it's the most, it's a Festruck Brothers version of a gangster.
We are the gangsters. Hey, we're living this life. Have some spaghetti, okay?
You better stand back. You're going to melt all this stuff.
Stuff. Yeah, it was so
all
bad.
right, and finally, number 9, show me some love, Noah. What's your favorite performance of mine?
Oh, my God. What a good question. Oh, Jesus. My favorite Pat Laboratory. I don't know. I've seen so much of your stuff over the years, man. I mean, I know that like Heathers was a big deal for you. And I know that that was like a stretch for you to go and do that personally. And like, you're really committed to that. And like, I know you personally were proud of that, and that was a big deal. That movie was a big get at that time.
That's my favorite. That's my personal favorite.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then
because of that.
I'll piggyback on that.
All right, cool. And then before we leave, I just want to plug what you do with acting. You're an acting coach, and how do people get in touch with you to work with you? And do you have a program? What's up with that?
I've been coaching and teaching for a long, long, long time. I started teaching years ago. Just all my friends, we'd all get together and go over each other's sides and stuff. And I kind of just wound up giving them input and this and that. When I was studying with Larry Moss, Larry asked me to start directing scenes in class, and I did, and I really liked it. And he kind of really was pushing me like to be teacher and this and that. Oh, you're crazy, Larry. What are you talking about? And eventually,
he's another great legendary acting guru.
Yeah, Larry Moss is still great, but he was really my biggest influence as an acting instructor, despite my having studied with Stella Adler and all these other people. But Larry really pushed me towards that, and I didn't think I would ever do it. But then, it came about from me just working with all my friends, and they're like, "You should teach a class, man." And I was like, "Well, why should I? Who's I?" I'm like, "Well, who am I not? Why shouldn't I? Yeah, fuck it." So I just said to a bunch of friends, I'm like, "If I teach this class, you're going to come?" And they did, and so it just started. And then I was doing it 2 nights a week, and it went on and on for a long time. And I got busy, and things happen. You start, stop. Anyway, I'm teaching again. I really love it. That's great. Because I will talk about film and acting and plays and this stuff. If it was a job
as an actor, I love the coaches that love the process. Yeah. I hate the coaches that want to break you down and tear you apart so that they can build you back up as the image of themselves. And it's like, that doesn't help me.
That's fucking insane. And my whole thing is I kind of fly in the face of all that, to be honest, because I went through every kind of training known to man. And I picked and poked. I'm like, what works and what doesn't? Like when I'm in the room trying to get a job, what works? And once I'm on the set and have the job, what works? And I really created my own system based on all that. And then my own shit too. And I'm martial artist, boxing guy, whatever. I've done that my whole life. And I consider the way I teach, I call it MMA, mixed method acting. The same.
I like that a lot. That's good.
Yeah, the same style as fighters who realize, you can't just be a one-dimensional fighter because every fight's different. And you need to be able to fight in close quarters. You need to be able to fight at distance, on your feet, when you're grabbed, when you're on the ground, when you're got multiple opponents. There's the different things are required for all those different situations. And so I'm like, and they realized that as they started doing this UFC and all that, because guys who were one-dimensional were just getting their asses handed to them. And so that's really, because I realized that unconsciously as an actor and a teacher, that's sort of what I was already doing. I take a lot from improv training, and I take a lot from Stella's work and from Larry's stuff and my own machinations of what's real world stuff today. And so it's really kind of that. And
how do people get in touch with you? Do you have a website? Do you have an email?
They can hit me up on Instagram. I'm on Instagram, Noah Blake, Noah Blake. And
I'll put that in the description below for the link.
They can email me at AuditionDoc at Gmail, Audition DOC, like the audition doctor. And it's just kind of my thing, as a writer and as director and everything that I've done, I feel like I can give people a myriad of tools and ways to approach a myriad of situations, as you know better as good as anybody. I
love the MMA idea because it's exactly it's true, where you have sitcom is different than a tone poem movie. It's not the same acting. It's you need different things for different jobs. Yeah.
Like if you're doing The Office, or if you're doing Parks and Rec, or if you're doing, this or that, they're different. They're all different tonally. And they have different pace and different everything.
Well, dude, thank you for doing this. This was awesome, catching up and saying, hey, you're the best. I'll talk to you soon. This has been great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, it's great to do this. Thank you. And we got to reconnect. We got to go hang out for sure.
For sure. Let's get back in line over at the Hard Rock.
Right? Let's do it. Wait, were we in line? Because I didn't like to wait in line back in those days.
No, you did not like waiting in line, but we waited in line. Meanwhile, Rob and all those guys were just walking in because they're the Brat Pack.
It's the Patrick Labber Show. Patrick Labato, he's the one you gotta know.
Hey, everybody. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the podcast and checking it out. It is an audio podcast wherever you get your audio podcast, and it's a video podcast over on YouTube. My socials are all patrick.laberto, and that is on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. I'm everywhere. If you want information on the school, you can go to workingactorsschool.com. We have classes going all the time. It's a lot of fun. I suggest you check it out. Hey, we'll see you next time.
It's the Patrick Labber Show. Patrick Labato, he's the one you gotta know.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.
Hey, we're Stacy and Pete, and we host We Don't Want to Grow Up, a podcast all about those warm and fuzzy memories from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s.
We're revisiting the pop culture, toys, and memories that shaped a generation.
Gen X, millennials, and I'm over here representing the Zennials. So if you ever experienced waiting for your Delia's catalog to show up after school, or if you got lost wandering the aisles of Toys R Us, this show's for you. You can listen to us everywhere podcasts are available.